All right, hello everybody. My name is ERoadhouse, and I'm joined with my friend Zacc.
Hello, everyone. I am Zacc. My Twitch and Twitter are Zacc Muffin.
And mine are both ERoadhouse. So basically, what we're doing today is we have a side-by-side comparison of both of our world records, since both of them finish with a time that is within zero point 0.4 of each other, very, very close. So what we've done here is we have put them both side by side, and we're comparing each room. Um, and there will be timers that show when one person finishes, and then a timer that shows when the other person finishes, and it'll compare them with each other. One thing I want to say right before we start is that there's a couple, not like bugs, but weird things that happened with the video exports where when I timed them with a frame counter, I got one time, but in the video it's like a frame off or something. So just take the times with a grain of salt. They're like 99% accurate, but they might be like one frame off. But anyways, without further ado, let's get her started.
Yeah, so you may have seen this with the Liam and Simply comparison. Back when Simply got his first SM64 120-star world record. I think this is probably where we both saw this idea first executed. And we thought it was cool, mainly just because we know that in that video, Simply learned a lot. And so getting into the first few levels, I know for a fact it's going to be very close for a lot of it. It's also a cool comparison to look at these two runs specifically, because they both have very strong early games, and then they have various time losses sort of in the later half of the run, which we can kind of look at a synopsis more down the road once we're at the end of the comparison.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting for me too, just to see, because when I was editing this, I didn't really look at the rooms that much. I just kind of, went to the end of the room and then clipped it all, so... But yeah, we're both going to be really close, I know, until Jedi Battle or something.
Right, you're a few seconds ahead of me out of Droid Factory, I know, and then I think I saved a little bit back on Jedi Battle, but I believe you take the lead at Gunship for a while. I'm not totally sure, but I do know that my run does have the best first half, and your run definitely has the best first, I guess, 9 levels or so. So
yeah, I think I got like best Droid Factory exit in this run or something. So.
But yeah, as you can see, I mean, negotiations 1-1, really, really close. I mean, at the level that we're at, like, for the most part, it's not going to be getting too much worse than that anyway. Like, maybe it'll be a second or two slower, but it's not too surprising to see that be so close. Invasion in this room, I would assume it's probably also going to be relatively close, because since we're doing the Jedi Battle RNG manipulation, we're going to want to keep things relatively consistent in this room. And so obviously, as you can see there, I get up the tree faster than Evan does. But what you're going to see at the end of this room is that I'm going to intentionally lose like a little bit of time just to make sure that I don't have a cycle too fast. Whereas Evan's just going to gun it straight for the door, and it's going to end up making this room a lot closer than it normally would be. In fact, I only saved 0.1 just to try and keep things consistent.
Holy crap. Yeah, and something I want to note with this room is that you entered extras on that dropout, so it's interesting to see how much that actually loses here.
Yeah, dropouts are important. Just over the course of the run, it definitely adds up, and I think that can be seen by, like, right there. I lost almost a second in that room. Now, obviously, all that isn't due to the extras menu, but you need both precision and accuracy, but you also need consistency with your dropouts. And I think menuing is something that we don't really talk about too much. I think most people would say that Evan and I have probably the best menuing out of anyone, which comes with both experience and, like, understanding of how to do these small things consistently. And it'll be kind of cool to see that side by side when we're doing the extras menuing on, like, I don't know, secret plans or Javas or whatever. But everything in this game requires consistency, including menuing, and I know that's an important thing.
Mhm.
So there you can see I had a slightly worse invasion overall. A lot of it was because of my room 2 with the waterfall jumps and the extras menu and whatnot. But either way, still close times. I mean, it's still decent invasion exits from both. You're not going to see too much variance in the first 3 levels for sure.
Yeah. What?
Every time I say something like that, I lose like 30 seconds.
So these comparisons that you're seeing right there, those are the loads, I believe.
Yes, the loads and save cancels.
So yeah, save cancels are another thing that's important. But I think most people who are on controller generally tend to be around the same speed with save canceling. One interesting thing here is that Evan gets the power up, so he's actually able to only lose 0.1 in that room, despite being really far behind. Actually, at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have to play a little riskier when you don't get the power up. Because obviously it's faster not go out of your way to grab it, but then you'll take damage. So. But yeah, this level is really cool because this level is pretty much just lines.
It's a good game.
There's not that much else in it.
Like wow, that's a cool room right there.
Yeah.
I'm probably a bad
like
person
one
to
frame
ask
off.
about this game.
Yeah,
casually,
and you
though,
can just see
because
how in sync we are. I mean,
you can just never look at this game.
the
casually
movement
again.
in this level specifically is so standardized now that I think like this you might see a little bit of variance here. Unfortunately,
I think people still say it's a good casual game.
unfortunately, Evan goes into extras there, but you can see that the double menuing at the same time, and then a little bit of a flounder at the end there from me, and we end up both getting not great end rooms on escape. But up to that point, you can definitely see how close we were.
Mm-hmm. I think one thing I also want to mention is that the times are in 30 FPS, but the game is in 60 FPS. So that's something to keep in mind, I guess, just because the raw videos were in 30.
With that was a 46.
So pod race is going to be interesting, since I save time to
I don't know.
literally everyone on this level, basically every time. Part of it is from my loads, which, as you can see, I already saved a ton of time on the load. That was like, what, 0.3 or something?
Yeah.
You'd have to try.
And then part of it is going to be menuing, which I was talking about earlier. This is a great example of seeing where being on controller keyboard actually can save time. Just because, like, you know, the menuing that you do in this level, your dropouts are going to be faster on keyboard, and if you can get consistently good controller dropouts, you can definitely get really consistently good times on pod race.
Yeah, so I think I just lost a little bit of time on each part to you.
Yeah,
But I think I lost the most time on the load.
that would make sense, yeah. I also had a decent pod race here. One thing that's going to be interesting is, like, you can see we're basically in sync, right, at this point. So this room,
rock section where the rocks
it's
are falling
barely
down,
anything, right? It's
that would probably be
0.1.
pretty hard.
That mainly comes down to just the dropout, the where you clip,
You
whatever.
don't know where to go.
This section should have a lot more variance, and you can see I saved a little bit on the
Obviously, it's kinda hard
dropout
for me to
there.
See it that way.
And then the pod fraud is
I know you
like
can just go to
basically the
left
same,
and you'll never
but
die.
because of that little bit I saved on the dropout, I'm able to gain 0.1 there as well. And this kind of ties back to what I was talking about with like being consistent with menuing, because even though I went into the extras menu in Invasion, I've probably
Okay, but
made
to
all
be
that time
fair,
back
it's
from the
like-
menuing this level already. So being fast with menuing is really
I'm
important.
talking, like,
Especially in
nowadays.
this game when we're getting to the
Like,
point where like
I'm
optimizing
not
little
thinking of,
things
like, a
is
child
way more
playing
important than it
that.
ever
I'm thinking
has
of,
been
someone who's my age playing this
in
game
every
now.
category, but especially percent.
Like, you
Like
just go
even
in there,
though
you'll never
you know
get
we're
to the
still
race.
having giant time
That's, like,
losses
the
in our
only hard
runs,
part of the
it's still
race.
important to play as frame optimally as you can, like everywhere.
Yeah, especially in the early game. Yeah, so 0.2 on that one, I think, is from me being on keyboard for that part.
Right. So your
So-
clip has to be slower.
Yeah, interestingly, I play the first 4 levels on controller and then switch to keyboard because it's a lot faster to play on controller. But yeah, so um, these endings, the bottom time is my actual delta.
So I think these first 4 levels are like exactly how everyone would expect them to be, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna get a lot more interesting, I think, at this point, where there can be so much more variance.
Mm-hmm.
So like theater clip, I'm gonna guess that Evan saves time to me here. I don't even know, but that's just my assumption. Yeah. So he just does that strat faster than I do because I don't really have a queue. And that just shows you like small variance in how people play, even just tricks or rooms or whatever. And it can basically like people play differently. Like I think Evan and I have similar play styles, but I would say we care about different things. Like we definitely care about consistency in different places.
So obviously you took a death there. Death loses 2 seconds. So that's like the first big time loss.
Wow, that was really fast. I guess I'll do the thing, man. Dude, oh my gosh, man.
So if I recall correctly, I think I just had a better lead than you did, just in general.
I did take a death at the beginning of this room, so I had to wait. But yes, you did have a better lead, I think.
Okay, so this is... Okay, never mind. Well, I was curious to see if your strat here saved time or not, but because we're so out of sync, it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
But it is an example of different strats, and this is a huge difference. You have 4 seconds. You might not even find a difference that big until like much later into the run, actually, in one room. So yeah, definitely interesting. This room I would expect to be really similar. Did I get the fast animation? I didn't see. I don't think I did.
I didn't catch it either. There's a faster lightsaber swing that Obi-Wan has when you're killing Panaka. It saves a little bit of time, but...
That line was actually insane. This is like BTT for this room. What the fuck? And I got a heart? What the hell? What the hell? Alright. No damage boosts because I did not press F2.
So this room has been really annoying for me recently, but I think you save a little bit of time in general because you're lower with Panaka.
Right.
Which I didn't realize until I was making this. I usually keep him pretty high so that he's closer to the droids, but definitely save a little time to me there.
But yeah, you can see, like that's not even a good hanger, a 112. But it's so hard to play that room optimally that it's like, it's okay. It's definitely an okay time to get. I mean, I obviously, like neither of us had a bad lead, I guess. But a 449 is definitely solid. And you can see like at this point, you know, we both got decent lead exits. I got a 1617. You got a 1621. So at this point, like there's not going to be anything bigger than that 4-second time loss in feed 1, but then I missed lamp, and that's going to be probably round 5, I would guess. I don't know. Not sure if you get the card or not. You do get the card, so I'm going to guess 5 or 6. Yeah, there you go. 5.5 seconds. That's just a missed lamp jump attempt. Honestly, I did not know that I missed lamp until I just saw it. This is another room though where playing like optimally is really hard. Actually, it's a very like unintuitive room where you can just like bleed time very easily. Like a 19.5 I think that loses like over half a second to BTT, and I didn't really do anything wrong.
Yes, you can
It's
actually
just
do the
very hard to
lamp
play that
show
room
on both
optimally.
sides. It's a lot Yeah, harder on the left side,
especially
though, and
when
it's
you're in a
slower.
full game run, your main goal is to not die. So
Yeah, you don't want to take the first jump too tight, and you also don't want to die up top. So here I'm actually curious. I think because we got very similar invasion room ones, so now I'm actually curious if we got the same amount of boxes in mall. I don't think we did, but
Well, this is already better than
Yeah, for those that just aren't aware, this affects Jedi Battle RNG. Did you get 5? Pretty sure
I
you
got
did.
6 as well.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I don't know how many droids
That also shows you there the RNG that goes into DM3.
Jeez.
Because the droids can kind of, wander into any pattern. You really want the pattern to be like conducive to basically
I don't know if anyone's actually.
pushing all of them into each other and not having to like catch any stragglers
This is why.
or do a force push of like 2 droids into each other instead of like 5.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet you were gonna save time with me in this room because
I think it was.
Yeah, I do
Wait,
do this.
no.
I do the cycle skips a little faster than you.
okay, yeah.
Oh, that room. Yeah. But yeah, you can see
Oh. Wow, that's
When you
way
saw
more
it,
than I
so,
thought you were
can
saving.
check how many droids there were on the left, Mikey?
Yeah.
That's interesting, actually.
It should be 5 or 6.
I knew what I did was slower, but I actually didn't know it lost that much time.
You can also just post it in chat. And
I guess that's because you can get the first slash off a lot faster. So yeah, I lost 0.76 in that room, despite hitting the cycle skips. So that's actually something I should probably look at. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just like we have different setups for it. The way I like to do it is I like to hit him with player 2 so that I can line up my players like individually so that I'm, right like at the right distance away from him, which is something I've always known is very important for cycle skips, is being the same distance away with both players. Like that was how I was always able to get it most consistently.
Yeah. Yeah, so 2014 and 2015 were really close, just a second off. This is actually my best episode 1. I know you have episode 1's faster than this, but this is my best.
Yeah. I've had, many better than this, but like a 2014 to 2015 is absolutely like you will really, really, be expecting a good like episode 2 exit from this, just because you can't expect to get like an insane episode 1 exit consistently. I mean, it's a relatively consistent episode until you get to like
give a nice break
mall,
in gameplay
and then
for
it's
it.
like because I missed lamp, right? So that would have been like a, I don't know, 2009 or something if I hit lamp. But I'm not going to complain about a 2015. So,
Yeah.
did I lose this much time on the load? Or wait, did you? I actually
Yeah.
can't tell. No, that was you, yeah.
I don't know what that
So,
cantina is. I feel like I always lose time in that.
so
I'll
one
have to
thing
look
that
at
Senor has told me is that the first time you enter the cantina after finishing mall, it's way slower than the next time. So it's kind of like a preload. But he said it only happens for him after he finishes in episode 1. And my episode 1 right before this run, I know for a fact, was good. So I know that I had already done runs at this point. I don't know if you had. I think you had. But I don't know if you had actually. I think this was your first run out of 1.
I can't remember. Have to look at it.
Because this was like a billion hours into the stream. Anyway, this level will be really interesting just to look at the side by side of. I think I got a 31 here. I don't know what you got. So
I also got a 31. I'm pretty sure you saved time to me in the rooms in between.
That's definitely PBable,
Yeah, we
but
get
it's
a
probably
really
just too
similar-
soon for him coming back.
and
to the
that's
PB,
probably because you're on double keyboard, right?
That's
especially
what I'm guessing.
that exit.
Right.
Still
It's just
solid
the
exit,
keyboard
pretty
line.
interesting.
The way I do this room, I also think is a decent line, but the way I do it is actually more
Yeah,
to
the cuts
prioritize
almost
not
are,
getting
like, super
hit on
nice.
either
Like,
player.
imagine
If you look at what I'm doing compared to what Evan does,
straight into 5-6.
it's almost like
I
I'll
can't
almost
imagine,
never
like,
get
you
hit
have,
in
like,
this room.
no break to like gather.
Yeah, so I guess I am saving to you, or a little bit to you, in those rooms, in like in between the light rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Either that's lines or it's just better, like controller lines being better. But one thing I've noticed is that like in ship levels, taking the correct lines is just really awkward. Like it usually feels wrong because of the geometry.
Alright, we back that up as 40K,
Yeah.
I guess.
But then, yeah, I'm going to lose a little bit, or actually a good amount in this room from taking that death,
Yeah.
which I take pretty frequently with the way that I do this room.
It's still 31. Guys, there's a Zacc dive.
Okay, I want to see how much time I lose to you in the next room.
1 frame.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because you're butterfly flicking with both players' attack button, right?
Yes.
And so all I'm doing is I'm just mashing my controller button with my thumb and then mashing the shift key with my middle finger. But I'm actually really fast at spamming that button, so I guess it kind of evens out. You will see, this is like a bit of a tangent, but you will see in Grievous how fast I'm mashing the attack button on player 2.
So
Okay, that's interesting.
I used to lose a lot
This
more
is
time
actually
in
my
that
best run
room,
ever.
but I cleaned it
Up
up
until this point.
recently.
For some reason,
I actually did too. I actually had been getting like mid to high 45s, and now I'm
Yeah.
getting like mid to high 44s in that room. A lot of it is just not stopping my movement.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so how much time do you save? Do you save time to be in this room? Okay.
Yes, but I do the slashes. I take 2 slashes in this room, and you do 2
Which, I mean,
slashes.
theoretically, what you do is probably faster anyway, but I'm actually surprised that attempt from me worked. But interesting that we do have very similar setups for this, and we're basically getting the same time here in this room, I guess.
Yeah, I did take it a little safer.
Yeah.
At the very end there. I also drop out in this room.
Oh, right.
Which is faster for me. It's faster for you to drop out in the next room, though. So
Yeah.
there's a little difference there, just because of Obi-Wan's spawn.
Oh, that's interesting. I was curious, like, how much time you would save to me on drops in warp, but I think it's more even now.
Did you just pause accidentally a lot? Seems like it would cause a lot of issues.
Yeah. So you...
So we had about a second
Probably-
time loss for the button skip room and that room, so pretty even between
Yeah.
both
This
of
level
them.
definitely is like a.
So this room will be
is
interesting. This is our first... Is this our first room where we do different strats in the entire run? I think it is.
I think, yeah, probably.
Yeah, so
You guys don't.
this will be interesting. I don't do drop chim warp, which we'll see on the left screen, because you want to be on controller for it, so it actually makes the character management a little bit slower if you're controller player 1. It's still faster, but I just don't do it for consistency's sake. And so you will see Evan save like 2 to 3 in this room, probably. Okay. Oh, wow. Interesting.
So yeah, so I always get like a 48 in that room.
Right, okay.
I'm curious how many. Do you know how many
So
you
how
killed?
many... I killed 2 just there.
I've also killed 2 so far.
Oh. I don't know if you saw what I did. But I kept my ghost hearts.
Oh.
So how much does that lose? Yeah, that's a substantial time loss. Yeah, if you mess up the timing on the swap, you will not lose ghost hearts and then not be able to do the trick properly.
Interesting.
I also think I biffed the fight because I'm at 1 heart on player 1 here.
No, not a goal, but good run.
So then this fight is also RNG. That was good RNG right there. for me.
I've been getting some terrible RNG in this
You're
fight
gonna make it
recently.
worse.
You're actually going to
Wait, why was
save time to me because I died, though.
RNG.
So, interesting.
Forgot about that. That's awesome.
This room has some interesting optimizations as well. Like I
It's a little
stand,
RNG there
I guess
with
Evan
how
does it
fast
too,
he
but I
shoots
stand in a
too.
specific place to try and like force the missiles to move him closer to his destination.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of a cool room. I wish it didn't have RNG in it, but yeah.
Yeah. So, 5 seconds in Camino. Most of that's from the Camino clip room and dropship.
Yeah.
clip. But yeah, so I'm about like 5.5 seconds ahead. I believe this run that I'm on has the best Camino exit ever. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then you're just right behind it. So, still neck and neck, but both very good runs in the early game.
Right. And then you're gonna see probably the same strats until Junland. So from here until Junland, so that level is kind of like it's a rare occasion because I mean, for the most part, we're just doing everything that's fastest if possible. But you're definitely doing more strats than me, I'd say, at this point in the run. Wow, I got down to 1 heart in that room.
Droid shoots me, he takes 2 hearts off.
I don't think you take a death though, if I recall correctly.
I don't think so.
Good shot of all the search on.
I was trying.
No, I think you are faster at this room than I am in general because of the way that you do this.
Yes. I actually save a decent amount of time on that.
Yeah, that's like more than I thought. And then this room is probably going to be interesting because I am bad at this room.
Yeah, I think I had a really good Droid Factory.
Yeah.
I think it almost golded.
That's actually
I died with Anakin.
Yeah, I actually also did.
Yeah.
I think we're basically, you're a little bit ahead of me here. Yeah. So for that room, I would say 0.3 is not a big difference because that room can have seconds of variance sometimes. This room though is one of these rooms that I think like we have definitely grinded before, especially when we were learning the new strat to like get. Oh well, I messed that up, I guess, but that room is a great example of like see 0.7. 0.7 just in that room, and I mean I did make a small mistake on one of the gears, but it just shows you that like rooms like that where it's all about timing and like lines and stuff like that can end up being really important, and that's why Droid Factory is such a good like movement level, especially for 1P2C.
Can you get record if you do any percent?
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of my favorite levels, just because of
Records
the.
don't allow extras.
I don't know. It's very robust
so for most
to
of
me,
the levels, I can't submit them.
except for the.
Did we both just go into the extras menu, or was that just me?
I wasn't really paying attention. I did get a better drop and warp, but the thing with that room is that R2 actually gets stuck until that droid gets shot, and
timing for
we
them
both
also
made it
starts
around the same time, so there's only a frame difference in that entire cave, which is pretty interesting actually. Because the cave can have a lot of variance.
That's when you go into 1-1 and 1-2.
So I tend to lose time in this end section a lot. I'm kind of curious if I do lose time view here. Well, definitely now.
Yeah, you did force a Geonosian.
Yeah. So forcing the Geonosian, 0.7, that's probably what I would have said. And then overall, like that's not a bad Droid Factory for me either, but the Droid Factory that you got is really good. So we're both on like really solid runs right here. And then you save like 9 seconds to me on pillars or something, if I recall correctly.
I don't quite remember how.
Part of that,
so
not taking a death on pillars is really nice. So you're gonna save like 3 to me here, I think, or 2.
It's Damien with an E.
Biggest mistake of the run.
So I don't know if our strat for the third pillar is different.
What?
This is basically what I'll say.
It is, yeah.
It is? Okay. I always send Padme in front and then keep.
Yeah,
playing
you'll
one
see it
behind.
right here.
Juice me up.
You'll see it.
Now I would say I get anywhere from that to like a 2
Yeah, so I kill a lot of them. I almost got it here, where I kill all of them before I even get there, but you can see how much time I
Still
saved
really
just on
solid.
that pillar.
Yeah. The way that I do these pillars is a lot more like it allows me to like adapt to
134.
the
Heck yeah. If we got
the
211, we're
RNG that I'm
absolutely
given
fucking.
like a lot more easily. But it's just slower. So, and then you're gonna see relatively even gameplay until the second wave, I believe.
Do you remember what?
Looks like we're on different cycles. I think you got what 212.
I'm pretty sure I'm on 212. Yeah.
Is it?
Are you on 211?
No, it totally is.
Yeah, so this is my favorite cycle to get. It's just so consistent. Like you can see
Rage,
What
rage.
cycle did
like
you
how
get?
fast this cycle is.
That was
Like that is
two-
such a good second wave.
Is that like 214 or something?
No.
213.
I thought 213
I
was
think.
bad.
No, because the way that I play it now is like if you go down, you can lead. Like you saw, there were two supers left at the end on the left, and you can make them both follow you at the beginning of the wave, and it just makes it so consistent. Like that is probably the best wave 2 you can get out of all the ones we manip for, I think.
Right.
So
Yeah. So the problem with 212, which is the one that I got, is that the last super likes to hide, so you have to find him, and I lost about 14 and a half seconds on that wave or whatever. So
yeah.
yeah, you can see I'm actually 1.3 seconds behind you now.
Wait, you still got a 325?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I did get a really good pillars.
Yeah, really good pillars.
And a solid wave. So.
Okay, so I think I lose a ton of time in the next level. So now we're starting to get into like the shakier ground of where our runs start to get like worse, basically. Just because up until this point, both of our runs are really good, and then it starts to get, significantly worse, especially once we get into Chunland.
Yeah.
I actually think I do a different strat in this room than you in this run. I'm not actually sure because I always switch around.
So whenever I have 2 hearts, I always take a death. But I think you wait.
Yeah, I wait, and then like an absolute genius, I die anyway.
That's why I always just take the death.
Yeah, in my defense, that was my first time ever trying to do that, and as you can see, this is why I don't do that strat anymore. It's very awkward on keyboard, so I lose 9 seconds there, and that's to a room that has the death in it. So yeah, one of the worst rooms in my entire run, I would say.
So I recently cleaned up my beginning of this level, and it's a lot better than it used to be. You can actually see how far ahead of you I am, but on the left here, I had a bunch of droids there, so I had to
play that so safe.
not kill the bomb faster.
Yeah, I also messed that up pretty badly.
And then your ending for this room is definitely better than mine.
Yeah, the ending is where I excel in this room mainly.
Oh well.
So even despite that, I still save a decent amount of time in that room. That room is like one of my favorite rooms in the game. Not to play, definitely not to play, but to look at, just because it is like the perfect example of like speedrunning optimization. You gotta take very like unintuitive lines, and you have to like judge the physics of the bombs. You have to know how to play safe and how to play consistent, but also play fast. So I think that room is really cool. It just shows like the best runners are the best at that room, and so yeah.
Yeah. So I messed up the barrel, getting on the barrel there. So
Okay, yeah.
I lost a second and a half.
Probably not. No, because Justin got his 321 in his 236.
So we're gonna be relatively even here. I'm curious if either of us got fast barrels.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Oh, we both did.
27, 26 BBT in a Cloud City. Dang.
So you're
it's interesting. I think all that time save is just from the different barrels I got than you.
yeah.
So interesting
Yeah.
that it can save that much time.
So we used to think that the entire fight was RNG. We know now that it's not, but that part is RNG. Which barrels you get, that you cannot control. At least I believe. I guess we'll see this room. So this is going to be interesting. I mean, I don't actually know if I did this room well, so it might not be. But
No way. Oh, that's bad.
So I did get a fast cycle. Basically, if you hit Dooku, as fast as you can, that's the easiest way to describe it. He'll force the lightning faster, but it's like a 1-frame window. But I actually did get it,
Yeah.
so I saved a bunch of time doing that room.
I guess we're used to analyzing the times in that room at this point. We went through so many iterations of the fight at the end of that level just to see how the cycles worked and stuff like that. We were able to actually learn a lot about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I didn't remember what you got a 41.27. Is that what it was?
I think it was 28 or something like that. Yeah.
And then I got a 41.19, which is my second best run ever.
Yeah, that's a really good exit still.
What's the split? What's the
Yeah.
split?
What are the benefits of using public key cryptography?
I don't know how I saved so much time to you on that. Must have been the save cancel or something.
23.
Oh yeah, I hit alright, like pressed the wrong button on the save cancel, I
Okay.
think. This cantina is,
That's so high.
I would say, the hardest cantina.
I'll get to that.
With this cantina,
It's-
actually, I have to save cancel differently than I used to. I actually press the extra input to scroll down because
Okay.
I kept whenever I would try and do it the fast
Did we
way,
have these questions on the midterm
I would
too?
always re-enter the
Like, I
shop
swear we did.
or
Hmm.
accidentally save.
Oh shit.
So I think you just got rated by Simply.
Hello.
Yep, that is in fact what happened. These runs are interesting because in Secret Plans I get rated by Simply, and in Secret Plans Justin PBs by like a minute in your run as well.
Okay.
So it's actually pretty interesting.
Look, I will try
Oh
to
yeah, I
respond to
totally
every
messed
single
up this
person
room.
that-
You're gonna definitely save time. Okay, yeah. As you can see.
Yeah. So I always take the grapples at different times because I got so
Yeah.
sick of that happening. What happened to you? Did they
So
fall off?
the only reason that happened though is because I messed up the first one, and when you mess up the first one, kind of just mess everything up. So I guess I wasn't doing the redrop prevention here yet. That's really surprising to me.
I think you
Um,
mentioned it at the end. I think you messed it up.
Oh,
Like, you just
right, that's right. I
forgot to do it.
forgot to do it because I was was reading the Simply raid, and I actually went on complete autopilot in this level,
Ads during clip.
and I actually do remember that. Yeah, 1 frame in that room. I mean, that's not surprising. That's a very, very consistent room. Although it is hard to play fast, I will say.
Yeah. So I actually messed up the box there. So
You guys have
you can see how much that lost. I had to push it again on the left.
I believe we do the same strat for character management here, though.
Yes, we do.
self-seated, confused, or something.
I didn't realize you punch it. It's interesting.
What does successful Marco? What the fuck? Stop with the fucking. No. I'll study afterwards, okay? I swear. Also, isn't that like a free question? Successful message authentication? Oh! That's what MAC means. I was trying to figure that out on my 521 exam, and I couldn't remember what MAC stood for. And now I just remembered it.
This room is
That's a
probably
little late
this
for
is
my
just the
thing.
room that makes or breaks your secret plans. This is the last one. Because there's a lot of variation with the enemies.
This run is actually like not
You can
that
see I
bad.
didn't kill these guys, so R2 isn't able to go as far.
I am
as he
getting
is for
close.
Zacc.
But you guys get to watch some gameplay, I guess, of an actual run, not like a no reset. I know that you guys don't get a lot of that over at Simple Stream, sorry.
Mess up there, so yeah, Zacc is definitely
I'm not gonna lie, I have been so
saving a lot of
autopilot
time
during this level
here.
that I actually did it wrong, and it worked, so we'll take it.
Why? But why?
Yeah, the secret plan's end room is like the only room in the entire level that's not extremely consistent, which is why it makes secret plans not like an easy level. I mean, that's where most people lose all their time, and even in this, like, you can see Evan lost 2 seconds there, which is just, that's like a normal thing that'll just happen in that room. But as we get into Junland, I'm assuming this is where both of our runs actually start to get bad. Like, my Junland is not as bad as yours, but it's not good either.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see, like, we start to get a little shaky as we get to episode 4 in terms of gameplay. The whole, like, thing just gets less consistent, which in general doesn't always happen. Like, episode 4 can be the most consistent episode. It's just not in every case.
It's just really hard, especially Junland. I know that whenever I get on pace, or get like a 47 secret plans exit or something that's really good, Junland just always kills it. Or like, Junland's always bad for me. So you can see I missed the gap jump, then I miss it again. Zacc usually doesn't go for the gap jump. Usually I actually do get it first try, but I messed it up there. You can see how far behind him I am.
That's less than fine.
I kind of wish I only missed it once, because I would have been curious to see how close we were with me missing it once.
Yeah, and let the record also show that this room sucks,
Dude,
as you can see. It's really annoying.
Yeah. We both died at the top, forcing the satellite. But yeah.
And that's like one of the like 10 billion things that can happen in this room. In general, it's mostly in your control, but there's definitely some parts of it, like just in this whole level in general, there's just like some parts of it that are just kind of not, and it makes this level like super frustrating sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure we both have a really bad BBJ also.
Yeah. Yeah, with this Junland.
Wait, so are we? We're synced now.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to know what causes like the slow getting out there.
This will just be funny to watch. All right, there you go. I got a 3rd try.
Got a 4th.
You got a what? 5th try, I think.
That was 4th, I think. But
yeah. So
at this point, I'm a little frustrated, and so I mess up the sandcrawler, I think, in the next room or something.
Gosh, dude, this level is just like killing all
I
my
think I've
patience.
always said this, but I believe this is one of the hardest 1p2cs in the game. Not to execute, but because it's like it requires a lot of precision for the whole thing, and it's a long one as well. And I like it, but this one's like a hard 1p2c to, like, you know, execute the same speed every time. The whole thing is just kind of precise the entire way through. Especially this room. This room can be, as you can see, very punishing. But at this point, I'm just gonna guess that we probably have similar endings to the level.
Yeah.
I don't actually know.
So actually, I remember I kill myself here, so I actually just enter as Obi-Wan, which is faster, but now there's a dropout in this room for me, so...
Right.
A little bit behind you.
This is so bad, dude. Oh, that sucks so much.
A little unfortunate.
I just can't with this level. I hate it. I'm just hating it more and more.
But yeah, this room is pretty straightforward, which is kind of cool because back in the day, like 2 or 3 years ago, this was like the only difficult room. Now we just do so much in this level
But I feel
that
like
this is honestly the
can't
most
do much
consistent
in
room.
Like room 1, obviously the gap jump was my fault, but the dying to the Tuscan.
Yeah, and the last room, I actually had a really good quicksand room. That's like as good as it's gonna get usually.
Stupid trick.
This room also should be very consistent now. I don't even think either of us miss it. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the damage. Both of our golds are. I have a 501. Zacc is a 459. So that's about how much time we both lost.
And this is. Heck, this is the second worst split in my run at this point.
Yeah,
but
probably Camino or
Yeah.
Gunship is definitely the other.
Gunship is the worst one, but
Yeah.
this is by far the worst split in your run, literally until Chancellor, I think, or I guess ITS. So
Yeah, I guess I can't complain about
for quite a while.
50
Yeah.
relay.
I was on a really solid run before that though, so this is still like a decent run.
Oh, okay.
And I actually just recently labbed the setup for this, which you can see Zacc does, and he gets it right away. I was having a lot of trouble with the setup, but so that's why I was just YOLOing it. You can
Yeah,
see how it pays
and
off
I
for
mean,
Zacc.
Nice.
You will see. I don't know how many of these rooms I'm going to save time to you in, but
Wait,
this was a really good spaceport that I had, so it's possible that it's most of them.
At least I got good.
Obviously, you're going to save time here because I have to drop out.
Fine. This is still like 116.
It's actually probably a lot. It's probably like a second and a half in this room, is my guess.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy difference.
Yeah.
Ah, need to pay attention.
But yeah, and
Oh.
he's gonna save time to
Oh.
me in these rooms because I'm on player 2 and he's on player 1, which has
Right,
player 2 has
right.
worse
I played a little bit of the
spawns.
Skywalker Saga, but
This room, I think I'd lose time to you in because I was on such a good
just like beat
spaceport. I
the
wanted to
game
play
and
it
then do a
safe.
little extra
Yeah.
stuff, and then
This room, though,
playing,
I
'cause I'm just, like, playing this game.
think your spawn is worse here,
It
and
is. But we're
I
pretty
think I
tied up.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we're generally even until right here. I think that's where I save like a little bit just because I jump off a little bit earlier, but I'm actually not sure.
Yeah. And I also just recently fixed this too. I used to do this a lot slower. You can see how much.
Yeah, you can see how fast my spy flight skip is compared to Evans, and like he doesn't make a mistake there really. So that's a strat that I think is really cool. Like I'm so glad we picked that up because it looks sick. But yeah, that's like a 332 spaceport. You're not going to get that very often, so you would expect most of my rooms to be better than that. That is the first gold in either of our runs, I think,
Yes.
if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
And then the next one is not for a while, probably. Not for a while at all. Very long while. I think it's my ITDS gold. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you can see I'm 17
32.
seconds
Oh
behind him
my
now.
God. Oh, that's so sick.
At this point, because Zacc got a really good spaceport, he's actually on a pretty decent run. And mine's just a little more mid, but yeah. So these rooms,
Right, so you-
we drop out in the different room.
Yeah. I do like the strat that you do there, but I was like, I mean, it's not any really, or faster or slower, so I wasn't going to bother changing. But, yep. You just had a faster out of bounds there.
Yeah.
So, and then so I don't call in player 2 in that room anymore, but you got a much better princess than I did. I know that for a fact. So
Nice.
But they're pretty similar red brick grabs.
we will see the Obi-Wan diff right here.
Yeah, this would be
The
interesting. actually.
Obi-Wan probably shows up instantly for you if I recall correctly,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
and then for me it's like a couple seconds, I think.
There we go.
Or no, you don't get it. Okay, I mean
Actually, kind of don't like it. when
they're
it
both
shows
not
this
great, I
fast.
guess
Yeah.
actually.
Right, that was really slow.
I usually never actually get the instant spawn.
Run is a little bit
That.
fast.
Yeah, I
rarely
definitely
ever
don't get that
happens.
anymore
Practice
either.
the drop out here. I don't really care though. That, honestly,
The
doesn't
dropout
save
that-
much time.
That Evan is referencing right there is we're not even sure if it's faster yet, but you literally just drop Chewie out while he's putting the helmet on so that you don't have to get pulled by the camera. And I definitely kind of would have been interested to see like if that was faster, but my run was before it, and then Evan's run was literally the day that
If you were wondering,
it got
that brick that I just
theorized.
Yeah.
It's gonna reduce the RNG in.
Oh, okay. So you actually just play that. I don't think you play it riskier than me. I think you just play it faster than me because you don't push it as far.
Yeah, that was interesting. Half a second
I
right
just
there.
noticed that too late.
Oh, this is gonna be probably what, like 1.5 seconds.
You take a death here.
Yeah.
Alright, well that sucks.
Please don't die, please don't
Actually,
die.
no, it's just 2.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay, never mind.
Jeez, man.
Thanks to the raid, T-Fresh.
This room, I'm gonna guess, is pretty similar. But overall,
honestly,
a lot of
it
that
doesn't
princess
look-
just comes down to
I
how
feel like
fast
it's
Obi-Wan
pretty
shows up,
even.
and Evan's Obi-Wan showed up a lot faster than mine, so that is the make or break for princess, to be honest. Oh, I also am bad, I guess.
Maybe saving time.
But yeah, I mean, that's like a decent exit for me. Evans is like, okay, it's not bad, obviously, but I'm on pace for best episode 4 exit here, so definitely better.
Mhm.
At this point, I guess at this point, I'm like, do I go for trash skip? I'm actually not sure.
So you didn't. And I was gonna actually ask you, how good does the run have to be for you to not do it?
So the only reason I didn't do it here was because I was thinking about it, right? And I was like, if I lose 3 seconds here, I'm not going to get best episode 4 exit. So I'm just not going to do it. That was my thinking was like, okay, if I'm like
Gosh.
gonna get a
Can you die
108,
faster?
I'm not going to do it, right? I don't want to kill 108 to that. But if I can't
That
get
scares
best
the
episode
crap
4
out of you,
exit
I
anyway,
saw
then I might as well go
auto
for it
dodge.
because the run's not the best run I've ever had. But because it's the best run I've ever had before, I felt like I was too worried about killing my run to the movement for trash skip that to actually like go for it. But I cannot believe I did not lose my helmet there. I'm basically going for it every time now. And I've gotten it like I think 3 times now since I started doing it, which is not, I mean, it's not a great success rate, but I guess it's better than your success rate was without the setup, I think. So there's that. I don't know. Well, you saved so much time to me in that room. Oh, well. I guess
I did.
you
do
lost
it.
all at the end.
Han did an auto dodge, so I did lose time.
Yeah.
But yeah, with a lot of the DSE rooms have like
Oh, I hate
minor
it.
RNG. You can see I got an extra
That's
spawn
why.
at the bottom there, so
Yeah, that's unlucky. That barely ever happens, honestly.
that only ever happens.
And there's nothing to do.
when Luke and Leia both. come
Yeah.
across.
Which is that? Oh, interesting.
Get the fuck out of my way.
It's actually, like, I was just going to say, the only reason Luke and Leia don't come across for me is because of the strat we do. Like, we have to do different strats to call Chewie in, and I pan the camera down left when I'm calling Chewie in so that when I call him in, the camera actually pulls Luke and Leia down into the death plane, which is the reason that never happens to me. So that's just like a small thing that you get benefit from
Oh my gosh.
with, I guess, being on controller. Although I know not everyone does that.
This is fine.
And then I went into the extras menu there and dropped out, whereas Evan didn't even drop out in the first place, so obviously he's going to save a bit there. And then the next room I'm pretty interested in because I've been... Oh, wow. Wait, what happened there? I don't even know.
I think with that, it's just the awkward line I have to take with not dropping
Right,
out.
that makes sense.
Um,
So I don't even know if I got the faster shot here. No, see, I completely threw, but I got a good enough power-up spawn where I'm still going to be saving time to you in this room, I think.
yeah.
And then this room...
Dang it.
Oh, that's right.
Sucks.
Honestly, that loses 5. Okay, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. That's where most of my time lost in this level is, actually. Compared
Yeah.
to you, at least.
Because, I mean, we both have decent DSCs up to that point. Nothing special, but not too bad. I'm gonna be honest. I remember absolutely nothing about how my rebel attack was in my PB. So I guess we'll find out.
This is about to be a disaster, probably.
So you get the insta shot. I don't.
This is gonna be a gold. That's bold. That was a slow target.
Rebel attack, I think, is a level that bugs both of us because there's a lot of minor inconsistencies in it that can like make it so much worse than it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and I feel like with how consistent we're getting with the game, having levels that are still like this is becoming like more frustrating now, because it feels like it shouldn't be that way. You know, we're eliminating stuff like Grievous and ITDS Room 1, and yet we still have to deal with the micro RNG of Rebel Attack, which can be really annoying. I guess you had a really good room there.
So safe.
Or actually, okay, never mind. I was looking at my screen.
So I was wondering, why did you do this setup?
Because my last run, I
A
killed the
good
entire
rebel attack?
run to it.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
Roadhouse run?
Yeah.
So
you can see how much
and you can see how much that
lost.
loses.
Yeah.
Yep, it's quite a bit. But yeah, I was like not gonna mess around with it. I mean, it's a really good run, and I was like, I'll take the 2 seconds, I guess. Because the previous run I had missed it like 3 times, and I was like, whatever. I think I messed up this ending.
What the heck?
It's a little
Dude,
scuffed.
I actually just keep saying it in the squeaks inflection.
So you're gonna save a little bit to me there too, yeah. Neither of those endings are bad, but yeah, overall, like a 424 Rebel attack is really good. I think that beats my gold, maybe the one you had, so can't really complain.
Mm-hmm. So is that actually your best episode 4, or is it like really close to it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I had another 109.11, but this one was barely faster.
Okay. Yeah. Pretty much what I'm looking for is just at least a 109.2 something. At this point, if you're getting a 109.3 something, getting a 223 is a lot harder. But
yeah, because I mean, at that point, you need to get like basically close to or tie best episode 6 if you want to be on
That's fine.
like a good enough run for a 223, even like 4x or something.
30 reset. Dude,
Guys, make sure you
imagine
check
if
that I did
I
save
had
time
missed
on Falcon
Falconless, or missed the Falconless jump.
so you can
And
see
then
how much.
imagine-
All right, there's a lot of chatting going on here. But as you can see, the resets have a little bit of
You
variance.
can see how much.
I
Zacc
get
is
a
a
27.
cheater.
Yeah, 108
Yeah.
definitely happens.
We like to call this a skill issue. Anyway, Jabba's Cantina, this is like my favorite cantina. I think it's really cool. Wow, we are like
For some reason I was
super in
playing
sync
that
on this
shop
too.
with the, after the episode 6 reset.
Wow, this is crazy.
Or not 6, episode
Wait, is this the same?
Yep.
Oh my god. Wow, yeah, that was like identical movement for the entire room. That's actually really cool.
So I think Jabba's was a weird one.
Because we both lost like 15 seconds in this level, but it was to different stuff.
I know we both.
I
had
think I
terrible last.
tried to grab the power up for the first time in my entire life. Right there. And then we get some mashing on the menu right there.
So I had terrible extras menuing, which is how you catch up to me.
Yeah, I had bad extras menuing too, but yours was, I guess, considerably worse. Yeah,
And
this
then-
level will be interesting. I don't know how Droid Avoid and Spiderless went for me, so
So do you not
I
do
think I
this
missed
strat
Spiderless.
anymore, where you build it with Luke?
honestly, I don't know why I don't do this.
Because we were pretty much tied there, and then I saved that time.
Yeah, I don't remember. There's something that made me stop doing it. I mean, that, but it's definitely, yeah, like kind of stupid for me to not be doing it. I don't know how I'm losing. Oh, that's right. I'm losing time in this room. I always lose time to you in this room, actually. But I think I don't know for sure, but I think I set Droid Avoid up like pretty fast. It's usually like pretty consistent for me. I know Droid Avoid used to be a trick where I would just pray, but now I like to actually think about what I'm doing. So it's definitely different now. Like that, after he gets pushed up like he did for me there, I know the next one is gonna clip him out. So it's a lot less of like a random trick than it used to be.
Yeah.
But you still saved time to me on it, I guess.
Yeah,
I think your biggest time loss was in the Rancor fight.
Yeah, it is. Something to note is that our players are swapped. That's just because I like to do spiderless on keyboard. Because I'm actually on controller player 1 for episode 6.
Dude, get up there.
Yeah. And the Cantina for Jabba's was one of the reasons you switched, right?
Yes, actually.
So I actually get spiderless much faster than you. I think I also had the wrong cycle. Actually.
I don't quite remember what both of us did. I just know they were both really bad.
Yep.
This room has been a nightmare for me recently.
Same, yeah.
Just getting the Gamorrean in the right spot is...
Wow,
That's
that
so
is
dumb, like, I
so
didn't even
lucky
have
that
the
that actually
Oh.
worked out. Oh my gosh, I got so scared when I didn't grab it.
That's right. So we both lose our time in this room, but for very different
Oh
reasons.
my gosh.
Yeah, mine is a little more embarrassing.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Because I messed it up the last time.
So I
But
actually
it
can't.
does-
I actually can't believe you died there. I'm not
Yeah.
even gonna lie. I can't believe the Gamorrean
I
died.
hate myself.
That is something that I've never seen anyone ever do.
I don't think I've ever done that either. So 1 in 1,000.
And you still save time to me in this room.
Isn't that crazy? That's how much that's how
Yeah.
important hitting that first cycle is.
Yeah, and it's stressful too, because you gotta, like, you have no time to spare because the Rancor's literally walking over there, and you don't want to force choke him and kill him either, so yeah, pretty bad Jawas from both of us.
Yeah, both of our Java's goals are like 607, 608, or whatever, so we both lost
So,
a
yeah.
considerable amount of time here.
And this is a level that should be consistent because it's all in your control. There's literally like no RNG, so that's not what you want to see. The next level, though, is a little bit more excusable, I would say.
Mhm.
Like in my
I
PV,
think I lose like 20 in the next level because of disco.
not be the case after this.
But I definitely remember specifically that like the Carcoon, other than that, was pretty good. So I might actually save time doing some of the other rooms. So I do 1-player Boba fight here instead of the 2-player Boba fight, and actually the reason I do it is essentially just for the Luke positioning after the cutscene is over, which I don't think worked in my favor here. I can't really remember. Oh no, it did. Okay, yeah.
Got a 633 Jabba's. I remember it exactly.
Yeah, sometimes Luke doesn't like to come across, and so we lose a lot of time to that.
That's fine. That's actually like the best.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually-
Well, now we're even.
That's a big reason why I keep player 2 in there, is because I like to kill
I
those
see what you're
guys.
saying.
Yeah, I usually end up leaving one alive. Also, I do a strat here that I don't think you do, but I think it's nice to just kill him on the lever. I'm pretty sure we both hit topless first try.
I think that's not
I mean, this trick is free, so.
We super actually put that in our rule set at some point.
Anyway, yeah, so, like, right here, this is another wonderful source of variance that makes Carcoon the joy that it is. So I die, and then you die also. That's actually pretty awesome. Yeah, that room, you can ask, like, any top runner. No one likes that room. It's so bad.
What?
I think I saved, like, what, was it 6 to you here?
Yeah, that's just a misplay on my part.
Yeah.
And then
That strat can actually be very annoying to recover if you miss it once. I don't know why. So then this is obviously a skill issue as well.
Dude.
Actually, I went back to my old setup that I used to do on double keyboard. I just am using the stick now.
Please.
Definitely not.
Maybe
as,
I should just.
Definitely not as consistent as it used to be with the double keyboard, but
Yeah, I need to. Oh, I just realized I have ghost hearts on Chewie. Did you see that?
I didn't see that. So is this? I
Okay.
think this is the biggest time loss in the run so far.
Yeah, by far.
19.3.
The next one, or the only other one is Wave 2 in Jedi Battle.
Right.
And then I had a good end platform if I remember correctly, and you did not.
Yeah, I was actually.
This
on,
is.
What?
I forgot about that power up
I've been
grab.
gifted-
don't know if
I
you saw
remember that now. Yeah. Yeah. Look, I got ghost hearts on Chewie. Huh.
Huh.
Interesting.
Dude, no, please. Okay, that was so stupid.
Oh, yeah. So
Oh my gosh, frick off.
this room also kind of sucks because it's very
Can I not
like
get freaking...
there's tons of small RNG elements that can happen in this room, including a power-up despawning. And even if it doesn't despawn, like you can see what is happening to Evan, it's still just like can be a complete mess.
Yeah.
So despite Evan saving 20 to me on Disco, there is a 2-second gap in our cartoons, and that just shows you how terrible the level is. Really, I mean, there's nothing else you can say. But yeah, this is the definition of like everyone hates this level. If you run this game at a high level, it's just so frustrating.
The big thing of this level is that it feels like the entire level's out of your control. You can still play really well. Basically what happened to Zacc, he played really well that entire cartoon, but he got Disco's third try, and he lost 20 seconds.
Right.
So.
And then in your case, like, you got lucky. Okay, don't
Nut.
look.
Nut.
Like, you got lucky on cartoon and then still lost 20 seconds, so it's like,
Yeah.
what can you do? Okay, so jokes aside, I didn't like miss flower jump, but I didn't get on the top of the flower, which I have actually done that
When's this guy gonna
multiple
run out of
times
channel
before.
points?
Because it's just like if you're trying to play that room really fast, it's easy to just like, jump too fast and then you end up not even making onto the flower, and it loses over a second. So
Yeah.
there you go, extras menu, shaping up to be a great speeder for me here, I guess.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy how much entering extras actually
all
loses. It's like
Yeah.
0.8 to a second.
Yo, what's up, Sugar?
Especially because you don't want to like you could lose less, but you don't want to try and exit out of the extras menu like
That is me trying to be optimal.
early or it won't work. So you have to wait for the lockup to go away as well. And then yeah, similar rooms there. I mean, that's to be expected. It's a 5-second room.
Yeah.
I'm curious what our end platforms are like though.
So I was on
Oh
a-
no, because you
yeah.
messed up.
I
That's
was
right.
on a really good speeder here actually, and so I played the last bit of this end platform really risky, and it ends up not paying off for me.
Yeah, I don't blame you though. I totally do that when I'm on like a really good speeder specifically. I do play the end of it really, really risky.
Yeah. So
I'm surprised this didn't work because we're in like the same position here.
yeah.
I guess I'm a little further down.
Come on, hit it.
Oh, frustration.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just trying to hit that bottom target a lot earlier,
Plus like 3 to that.
and it didn't really work out.
4
So
actually.
Yeah, I mean, my end platform was not good either. It lost like 2 seconds, so yeah.
yeah, so you actually end up saving time with me in speeder.
That's crazy. Speeder should be like the most consistent level in the entire back half of the run, to be honest. Like it just actually should be. But I feel like it's not. Like you will just randomly lose 10 seconds on speeder sometimes because of shenanigans that can happen.
Rotate in that situation.
Now Endor, on the other hand, is not even close to one of the more consistent levels in the back half. But it is in your control for the most part. And I'm sure nothing will go wrong in this level.
Quite the
So,
opposite, actually.
Oh, didn't know that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, well, that's interesting. I guess that makes my Endor look less embarrassing because now the time loss is from... Anyway, jokes aside, as I'm alluding to, the next room I get a really, really unlucky time loss. which you'll see. I don't even know if we can explain it because I don't know what happened, but it's just some weird AI glitch, I guess is the way I would explain it, and it loses me like 40 seconds. So this is where you were going to see the first huge time loss of the run. Despite the fact that our runs are 0.3 apart, they're not actually that optimized, as as you can see. Coming up right here. I mean, we basically play this section identically, so it is kind of weird that mine. Wait,
So
did you check?
I did check actually.
Oh, right. I mean, because this is after my PB, so that does actually make sense.
So basically what happens to Zacc is sometimes the AI characters will get stuck. So you see he calls in, but R2 is nowhere to be found. It actually takes him a second to realize because...
Yeah, because I'm like...
Where's R2?
Because the thing is, if a character doesn't show up, it's almost always C-3PO or Leia for me. It's usually C-3PO. No reason why, I guess. I don't know. But he's just sitting there.
So
we haven't really figured out what causes that. I mean, the general theory is if you hit hill roll and take the correct line, it shouldn't happen. So that is actually the first time I think it's happened to me. So
it has happened to me before when I do everything correctly, supposedly. But yeah, so you can see I'm already done with the room, and Zacc is still here. So really unlucky time loss.
No, oh my god.
Oh, I didn't know you did this either.
I didn't know I did that either.
Oh, there you go.
Accidentally entered the door again.
Yeah, you can imagine I was a little tilted after that whole thing. But mainly just because the run was still really good. Like any run that has a really good episode 4 exit and doesn't die on Jabba's and Carcoon is a good run. And there you go. 36 seconds. And like you can hear at this point, I was like, I feel like the run is not dead, but it's going to be a lot worse. And
Zacc, I just pan up.
It only gets worse from here. But anyway, more on like your side of things. I think a 108 12 button room is pretty decent.
It's fine.
That's like a couple seconds off.
Nothing incredible, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really gonna
there is a little bit of RNG in that room with the characters that show up on which buttons or whatever. Because, you know, the characters have different speeds. And you also want Chewie and Leia to be on the same side usually. But that just makes it easier, not any faster. I think this is more of like, you can tell that I'm just playing bad now, because I am just like tilted from that. So I'm just like messing everything up.
Yeah. And a 45 in that room is really good anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
I got pretty lucky.
So, bunker, I don't really remember how this went. This is a room though that's like, oh, we're like still even here. Yeah. This is a room though that's always been like really important to the level, basically because there's like 50 different things you have to do in this room, and it's like a hard 1P2C that goes on for 2 minutes, so you really have to stay focused in this room. And you can hear I'm just not talking like barely at all. Or well, I guess I'm still malding about the 35-second time loss, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So I was actually on a really good Endor here until this.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. This could have been like a 21 or a 22 Endor, and I don't know what happened there. I'm going to be honest. I actually have no clue.
Yeah. Basically, the trooper is supposed to pull the lever, like what happened with Zacc, but on my end, he just didn't pull it for some reason.
That used to happen to me a lot more in free play, so I'm actually not sure why it happened there.
Yeah.
I think I get the trick switching to R2 here, which is like kind of weird.
Yeah, I didn't get the swap.
And then you still golded this, I believe.
Yep.
So I do a different ending here if you're pivoting your attention.
The reason it looked like Han had 0 hearts.
I don't really like to do it because the troopers scare me. But
yeah, no, that's fair. It does only save around 0.6, so it's not actually huge. And I have gotten shot before. I will admit that I have gotten shot before there. So yeah. At this point, you have now pulled way ahead of me.
Yeah.
And
Almost 30
I'm
seconds.
sure the gap will not widen anymore.
So I actually haven't seen what you did wrong in Jedi Destiny either.
It's just, you'll know from the moment that, like, you'll see.
Interesting.
It's just not even close. So yeah, this is
So were you trying to play it risky there because of the Endor time loss? I see. So
yeah, I was like, all right, I need like a 23 Jedi Destiny, and then whatever. I need like, because in my head the run was basically dead at this point. But that was me not thinking straight, because even if I had not done that in Jedi Destiny, it actually would have been a completely fine run. Like, it still, I think, would have been a 137, I'm pretty sure, still. So yeah, that's just like, I know that you have done these things before too, but you know, when you have like a giant time loss, it's really easy to like want to play faster to make up for it.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think we are the two biggest culprits of that. I think you see it a lot more with like Xenor. People always talk about that, but I mean, it's just like a thing as a speedrunner. If you have like a really, really disaster split, you are going to want to just play faster.
I mean, if I get a really good ITDS, the exit's not too bad. But if I get like an average,
And as I say there, if I get a really good ITDS, the exit is not too bad. And you will see in the next room, right here, that, well, there's another 35-second time loss. So this one, once again, and I think Evan and I were talking about this, is not in your control.
Yeah.
So both of our giant time losses are just RNG, pretty much.
I really needed to
And
do
I mean, if
that.
you look at the RNG I'm getting right now, like, it's actually insane. So I did dupe one at the beginning, I think, but like, it literally does not get better than that. Like, I don't even think it's possible.
So I'm pretty sure that Zacc just had the best opening ever.
By 3 seconds.
Yes, and what I'm having right now is actually the worst opening I've ever had with Tractor Beam.
Which is just a hilarious dichotomy.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Endor time loss that Zacc had in that one room actually kind of evens out with the time loss I had here.
I blanked.
Yep.
Yeah, so I also blanked
That
there.
blank was very stupid. I remember seeing that when it happened and being like,
That is
what
the
did that
worst opening
even
I've ever gotten
blank
with that
on?
game. Of course it happens in the game, too.
So yeah, cool level
Now I
here.
do.
And a nice dupe from you,
Yeah,
I guess.
at the very end. Yep.
Yeah, that's a bad opening for you.
Yeah.
I guess what it's like, so 208. So the
Yeah.
best you're really gonna get is like a 32 or something.
Is that what you got? A 132? I'm pretty sure it was something wrong.
Yeah.
Usually you're shooting for about a 1.4 or something, 140 something.
Yeah, I feel if you get like a 147 around there, I would say you're
in good shape.
probably got average RNG.
that was really good.
Yeah. At least with Tractor Beam, that is.
So I actually died there.
I also die in this room, I think.
Yeah, and so, but instead of taking the death and waiting for the respawn, I actually drop out and call back in. I have no idea if that's faster, but I think it is. But I also don't have torpedoes on either of my players, so I do have to do the backflip compared to you having two players. So you actually can save a lot of time there, but the death ends up making your room slower anyway, I guess.
Gosh, this ITS is cursed.
So yeah, despite the extremely rocky episode 6 from both of us, we end up having relatively similar time losses in terms of like the amount, I should say.
So I actually got that thing. I forgot about that. That's
Yeah,
a flip.
I don't go for that anymore. I don't know if you always go for it, but I always found the core a little bit awkward to do when I got it.
Yeah.
So are you?
Stop. Oh Oh my gosh.
Did you save time to me with it? I think because like obviously your core wasn't great, but
I
it
couldn't
looked like
quite
you were still
tell.
ahead of me.
I think I did. I just
Yeah.
lost time in the room because I got destroyed by TIE fighters.
Oh yeah, you definitely did because you only lost 1 second to me in that room. As you can see,
Well, Maul
we're
beat me
both
from
having
it.
a great time here in episode 6. This
Our-
episode is just like
Well, no, it usually makes the noise.
I don't know,
but it
man.
doesn't usually
It's
make
like this episode just determines your run now.
Our episode 6s were pretty much the same, just in different spots. We both got 621 Jabbas, and then we both lost 20 seconds on Carcoon. Both got 254 speeders, and then we both had a 35-second time loss in the next.
Yep. And then it's just Destiny is the only other difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Like this episode is where you start to get these like giant inconsistencies. Because like if I lost 35 seconds in episode 4, I probably would have just reset.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I actually very rarely reset once I get out of episode 4.
Yeah, once I'm out of Carcoon, there's no way I'm resetting. Unless it's like the run is actually trash already and I lose like a minute. But
So I
yeah.
am still ahead of you, but not by much now.
Right, because I got
10 is like it's okay. It's a decent run, obviously, because it's a PB. But I think my best is 137.44. I'm not sure what your best is.
my best I think is 137.31, and that is like fine. That's like like we still haven't gotten a great episode 6 exit.
Close.
Yeah.
So yeah. Either way, I mean, like at this point,
But I mean, I guess that's about the worst. it's
I
gonna
was
get.
not even sure if I was gonna
I'd say I backed it up.
PB, but like I think the run I was comparing to, which is my PB before this, had like a 30-second time loss in
I
Bespin.
guess I got a thing on the
So I
bright
was
side. That would have been
pretty
so
confident I
much
could just do that
if I
again
had
and then
had
not have that Bespin
like,
time
I was
loss.
actually
And so
getting no ships.
my mentality at this point was just because obviously this is the day after the summoning salt video came out, so my mentality was literally just close it out. Like this does not need to be like a 223, which I mean that's maybe not the best way to think, but I really was more concerned about just like closing out a record at this point instead of getting a 23. Whereas I think now, like at this point, record is a lot less important. Like I it would be cool to get it back, but I would care a lot more about getting a 223. I think at this point in the meta of any percent.
Yeah. So I was curious to see us side by side, but you do the extras, or you do the
Oh
800 by 600 EQ in this level, so.
yeah, I can't get exposed. But for those of you who are not aware, I'm really bad at this level for some reason. I don't know how that's even possible. But for whatever reason, Evan just saves time to me in this level like every
Hardest stage in
time.
the game. It's actually
And,
kinda stressful, I'm not gonna lie.
You can
Not
already
like
see
you, but
why, I
towards the
think.
end,
It's just because I'm camera hugging like in the wrong places usually.
'cause you can, like,
Honestly, I don't really
die
know what I'm doing in this
pretty
level.
much
It is kind of funny that I have the
Dying
community
loses
best here,
so much time,
and I have had it for like
depending on where you
a
die.
year and a half at this point, literally just because my resets are faster, because I honestly am not
This
good at
was
this
the
level.
spot where I could die and
But
probably
I think if
not
I actually
that
paid
much
more
time,
attention to
but
what I
like
was
4 or
doing,
5
I would be
seconds.
getting better times on it. Because
But,
like,
if you
I think I got
die,
a
like, kinda close
441
to
here,
the
and
end,
like,
it actually
yeah, I
feels
did the
like
extras
super
menuing, but it still should not be that bad.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. But I guess since we're in Coruscant, at this point,
This is like easily the hardest.
I guess
stage to
I'm
play
feeling like
Angelus.
okay about the run. But I know that I was
Can't
going
avoid
against
getting shot, really.
my personal best, episode 3 and 5. So I wasn't feeling
Yeah, this stage
like,
is hard to
super
do
confident
just
about it,
the
I
whole
guess.
stage.
Yeah, I think after the ITDS, when I was watching your run, I had the mentality of like, this could definitely be a record, but if it is, it's not going to be that good. Like, it's probably, you probably can't 23 with a
Alright, thanks for
138
sticking around. Have a
1X.
good night.
I mean, you can, but it's like, that's not really what you're looking for. You'd rather be like 15, 20 seconds ahead of that.
You
So,
definitely have to be like playing really well for
yeah.
you to get a 23 with a 138.10 episode 6.
So at that point, like because to be honest, right, we've both gotten so many records in this game that like
Wave warrior.
record is super cool to get, but I know that we both care a lot more about just getting a good time.
Yeah.
So that's the easiest like big picture way to approach nerves, I think, is like when I'm on this run, right? The nerves are not coming from me getting record necessarily, but more so like me proving myself the day after the video comes out. And I also have Simply's entire raid still in my chat and like a bunch of Mario runners that I, follow sitting there, and it made me a little nervous. Because I'm sitting. I had like 600 viewers at this point, which is like, I did not want that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially for me, I didn't even think record was really possible until the episode 5 started going really well. So,
well, I mean, especially honestly, after Chancellor, I was like, okay, I mean, it's just dead. Like,
yeah,
I know you probably
in this level
like
what
feel the
happens.
same way. That episode 5, like, it's not even just you playing well. Like, that's so unlikely to actually like get that lucky.
I mean, I think I would say
Mhm.
easier.
So like, yeah, I don't know.
So did you?
You just kind of assume that like there's gonna be way more time lost to Sob in 5 than
It
you
probably
had.
sounds weird, but I'd really like the.
Did you mess up the extras menu in here?
I
Yep,
never like
Okay.
watched
I
that.
was
But
gonna say it.
a lot. I actually went out of the extras menu twice before turning EV
Oh,
on.
okay.
So
I didn't. I was checking. Forgot.
I believe this is my PB has like a 151 Dooku fight entrance. It's really bad.
Interesting.
And the next room, I am kind of curious to see as well.
I know we end these rooms a lot differently because we're on opposite characters.
Yeah.
For the next part, but this is another level that top runners don't like very much because there's a lot of micro RNG with the droids. And
Yeah, this is just Rebel Attack, but way. This is more like Carcoon than Rebel Attack, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So I moved the dropout there, so it's a little bit different, but I'll just take a dip there. I mean, it's not actually that much time loss, but it is time loss.
Yeah.
So I drop out there, and what I actually do is I like having Anakin on player 2, whereas I think
I got really lucky.
you
I don't
just
think
keep
so, too,
R2
would be
as your other player here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's slower. I know for a fact it's slower, but it's more consistent. As you can see, like I killed him so fast there. So you can see the time loss there, like just the difference.
Really?
It's like maybe 1 to 2,
You
but it's so consistent.
You did have better pause buffers than me, and
Yeah. And then I had terrible out of bounds
I
movement.
think we
So you're
both-
actually gonna save time to me again, I think.
no.
Oh, actually, no. You had also really bad out of bounds movement. Never mind.
I think with this room, all I'm really looking for is to get the skip.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, it's like get the skip and don't lose 10 seconds because it's very easy to do that.
Yeah.
And then in this room, it's like don't die,
Nice.
and that's
We're
basically
showing.
it.
Yeah.
But you usually save time to
We're
be
gonna
there.
lose a little bit here,
Interesting.
Yeah.
this goal is
So
very
I
good.
actually, because of the way my characters are in that room, I have to pause way earlier for
This is
the
exactly what
Yeah.
the drop and warp, which risks a hard lock a little bit, but it's in my control.
Yeah, I mean it's not that risky though.
Yeah, so that's where I save a little bit.
Wait, you are just playing this room way faster than I am. I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah, you can see I do the 800 by 600. And here is the stupid time loss on my screen.
I can agree that this is very stupid. I don't know why this happened, honestly. Because, like, the fact that the other guy came over
Oh my
is
gosh.
actually really weird. Like,
I can't believe I'm getting destroyed like this.
all I'm saying is, like...
I can't believe this is killing my run in twice.
all I'm saying is there's a much better Chancellor End Room if you want to go take a look in the Wii co-op IL.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
I had a 408, so That's
So-
some nice time save for me there, I guess.
Yeah, I did lose 18 seconds in that room, so would have been a 410 without that. But normally those Grievous bodyguards are supposed to like just de-aggro.
That's like a 2019 problem.
Cause like that is true, by the way. That is like a problem that people used to have
I'm
like
gonna go
3 years
enforce
ago,
those
and that has
into them if they
actually
got
never happened to me
killed by
ever.
EV.
that has not
Um,
happened to me in a long time.
Uh-huh.
I think I got a bad Grievous also.
We both.
I don't know how good yours was. Well, not great it looks like. So even though we're on 800 by 600, you can see that this level still kind of blows.
Oh my gosh.
Because like we're both getting like whatever mid RNG here, and it's just. So yours is actually worse than mine, but not by that much.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Do you think a slashing Grievous is slower than getting a 1 cycle?
Yeah, this
Because it actually looked like you made time up there.
We'd have to probably look at that.
Yeah.
So actually, I left this intro cutscene in because you do something cool here.
Oh
which
yeah.
is pause during the
So-
cutscene.
So I spam pause during the opening cutscene because this cutscene specifically has like a little bit of a bigger window to get the pause, and so by doing that, I can actually change my refresh rate, or not my refresh rate, my aspect ratio back to 16:9, back from 4:3, which is what happens when you have the aspect ratio set to from screen res, which Evan doesn't do, but I do because I prefer having 4:3 for 800 by 600. I don't know why, it just makes it better for me. So
Okay, 106.
the opening, you're definitely better at the opening of this level, or just specifically that room, the Order 66 section. And so I'm not surprised that I lose time there.
It looked like he didn't die for some reason.
But I actually don't even know how the Sheik was in my PB, so I don't really remember any
Dude, come
parts of
on.
it.
I did get shot with Yoda there twice, so actually you're like a little bit ahead of me now.
This section of this
I
room
don't wanna do 3
is
of
just
2
so
on 4.
awkward. Like, it's just weird.
It's a weird room. I have like a love-hate relationship with this room.
Yeah, because it's not even that hard. It's just like I
It's a
don't
lot
know.
of
It's
of
odd.
episode 3 is victim to a lot of micro enemy RNG.
Yeah, and that's just mainly because you have to like. There's just so many. Like, there's clones, there's droids all over the place in episode 3.
Mhm.
Whereas, like in episode 2, right, you can just ignore the Droid Factory enemies. There's no enemies in Camino and like Jedi Battle, Gunship, whatever, you know. So in episode 3, there's just so many enemies. Also, shout out to this room.
It happened again, dude.
That is interesting.
Like-
I wonder if that happens.
Come
So
on.
for me, Chewie is
Are you
almost like
kidding?
off screen every time because I'm trying
Yeah, so
to change the camera.
I can't believe that's happened to me more than
I
once.
guess I should stop getting the power with Chewie then.
So yeah, I don't know. That is
That
weird.
actually happened again.
It is probably something that I'm doing, but it is still weird to me.
So I got a redrop in there. I don't know what causes that redrop in.
Dude,
It actually might be the X-wing room.
stupid control.
Now that you said it, like you're off screen sometimes, so that might actually be what it is.
You might be right.
This ending, you're definitely better than me at this ending. So this is like you can sort of just like flip a coin to see if I'm going to lose like 8 seconds on the end of this level or not.
You're
So
That is
I
fine.
honestly have no idea.
I did take a death with Yoda, so.
Okay, I actually had a good ending.
Yeah, so you're
Oh well, I also took a death with Yoda, so never mind.
It's even sub
Also took 8 years on the pause menu. Yeah, Kashyyyk is a
Yeah.
weird level. It's pretty easy to lose a lot of time in this level. If one
I
thing
think
goes
it's
wrong.
just like it's just hard. It's like it's kind of like a full level execution test because like nothing in it in the level itself is that hard, but then like everything just combines to being like very, I don't know, finicky.
Mm-hmm. It's like one mistake in Kashyyyk is probably gonna lose you like 3 seconds.
Yeah. That's kind of cool that we're just in sync on that.
Yeah, it is interesting too. I was wondering, since I'm on player 2 and Zacc's on player 1, I was curious
2 a.m.
how close we would be in this room.
I guess you saved time to me here.
It looked like I just forced it a little bit faster than
Yeah.
you.
So I didn't get hit there, but
I don't.
So
I
this
remember anything
room,
about this
like,
room.
just RNG. I mean, like, once you get to library skip, you can call that in your control. But you see I died there, and that's just like, yeah.
what the hell? That just deflected all the way over there.
So I took a long time to set it up because
Dude, what happened in my
I had
PB?
just killed a run to the library skip. So I saved a little bit to Zacc, but yeah, ruin for me is pretty much just get library skip. So I actually almost golded this level. Dude,
Why? I don't know why he didn't call in there. I might have.
in high school and she got out last week.
All right. So I messed up this level.
What the frick? What?
It was very stupid. I don't know what happened to you there.
Okay. You can hear my voice. I don't know either.
Like, I've seen that before, but I have no idea why it happens. I don't know how I saved so much time to you there, too. Because usually I'm not so great at that room. Okay, I think... Is this where I lose all my time? No, I guess it's the next room. I don't know if it's the warp or if this is the run where I get, like, stuck. Because, like, at this point, I've saved so much time to you on this level. And then, yet, we still get, like, the same time.
I'm having a pretty bad Vader. I
Yeah.
messed up the character management, and then, obviously, the drop and warp I lost a lot of time on.
Yeah, like, what is this?
That was close.
Who gets stuck on the house? Like, I didn't even know that was a thing that could happen. And then, of course, he doesn't warp. Like, Jesus.
Yeah. By the way, the house is what we call that giant pillar, if you're confused. Don't ask me why it's called that, but it's called
No,
that.
no one knows why.
Yeah. So
I save time to you in every other room, and then you get a better Vader. This is just a classic right there.
All right, we have some time.
So
saved here.
157.14.
You got a math test?
I think I need like a 27.29 episode 5 to PB, which is a pretty good episode 5.
Isn't Christmas
Yeah,
Eve like
that's
a
basically. I think I get like a
national holiday?
27-26 in mine.
Yeah. Which I think your episode 5 in your PB was best episode 5 at the time.
It was until yours, literally until yours.
So we both had really good 5s. To be honest, I guess for me personally, this isn't the hardest episode.
Insane.
I don't know what Zacc thinks. I would say for most runners, it's definitely the hardest episode. But
Honestly, I feel like for me, the hardest episode right now is 2.
I think I
Or
would
like
go 4 or 6 for
6?
me right now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because I feel like right now it's not so much a matter of how hard things are, but how consistent things are. Because, like, you know, it's not like Cartoon is easy, but it's also more so inconsistent than it is hard. So. So I guess I do a little bit of a faster setup on that, but then you're probably going to make it all back from extras, is my
Can I
guess.
turn that on?
I know Justin actually does a really fast setup for there, where he just doesn't even stop moving.
Yeah,
He'll just,
I
like,
mean, it
right
doesn't
into
save
it.
too much.
Yeah. I haven't
But
looked at
yeah.
that yet though. But
Wait, how did? Wow, you made up so much. Okay, maybe I
Droids
should do
sound
that.
weird to
Maybe
you,
I
Zach.
should do
They
the
sound,
call
like,
in at
so
the top of
different.
the thing.
Or they did right there
Huh.
at least.
Because so I get the keyboard lockup, or like I have to let go of my keyboard
in that
inputs to
little
call
camera
in
mm-hmm.
controller there,
Thank you, the one Patreon.
and most people do it while flipping on the barrier, so that they don't have to worry about, or like they don't lose time from the lockup. And I don't do that, but I guess it loses more than I thought, so maybe I should.
Yeah. So
I actually had a good start though.
I'm on controller for the second barrier skip, so I don't have to worry about that anyways. But
Okay.
I think that's just 'cause
My
it's
RNG is
somewhat
definitely
buildable.
better here, because like what? Yeah, 24.1.
yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh, we both got decent spawns.
That is huge.
I got this though.
This one, I honestly don't know how I feel about the one you got. I guess like obviously I would take it over a lot of things, but
I mean, I
Alright,
played it
that's
well
what I
though,
needed.
and
Yeah,
this
I
is
think-
definitely the fastest one you can get if you play it well.
mhm.
That is exactly what I needed.
But
you can see we had pretty similar.
yeah,
I think it's definitely faster if you get them really close together to tow one and then bring the bomb closer.
I think so.
Um,
But the
Which you
most of my
wouldn't
time
think
loss in that wave was just because you were next to the
What?
AT-AT already, and I had to go
The
all
amount
the
of
way
times
over.
I've gotten
Right.
actually, like,
And then we
Also-
both get
top
like
bombed is
rolled
so
on this wave.
ridiculous.
yeah. Also, with the spawns that you got, it's not really possible to do one tow, grab the bomb, one tow, grab the
Alright,
bomb.
it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Still a
I guess
six-
unless you do the bottom one first, but at that point you're probably just losing time to go for it. But yeah, so pretty similar Hoths.
Pretty good, but on both ends, I would say.
Yeah, Hoth is pretty much a level where I'm just like get something acceptable and then get out.
Yeah, you let RNGs just take their reins in this level, because honestly, it's just like either you get a good Hoth or you lose 30 seconds. There's really no in between, so you just kind of have to like mitigate the time loss, because this level is hard, to be honest. Like
Mhm.
with the Arena 1P2C now, it's not easy.
Definitely not intuitive either.
Yeah. The next level is going to be interesting, because yours should have the new strat that mine doesn't have.
Oh right, okay.
My next two splits are pretty good, so.
Yeah. So I know I messed up this room. I don't know if did you get the. Yeah, so you can see.
I don't usually
I
mess
swear
this
to God,
up.
I'm never gonna
Yeah,
get that in a
so you
run
can see
because I just don't
Zacc
have enough muscle memory
didn't
for it,
die with
so-
upon there is where I died. It's a little. It's not like precise per se, but it's not like easy. I would.
It's kind of precise, to be honest. Like the positioning, or I guess more so the timing. But yeah,
Yeah.
so 2 seconds. I mean, it's exactly what you'd expect, right? It's just a death.
Basically, you can make it through that explosion without dying.
I'm
with
actually
time.
curious.
Saves, like 2 seconds.
So like in my gold, I lose a bunch of time in this room, and I was timing it. So I actually am curious what time I'm gonna get here, because I just want to see what a normal time for this room. Oh, yeah. You know what? Never mind. I guess. Yeah. That room is hard. It's so like easy to just die or like
Mhm.
miss your shots,
I
and it's
really
just
think it's a
it
lot
can
slower if you tag
fall
and
apart
go
really
really
easily. Like
fast.
that's like one of the most like underrated rooms in the whole level, like in terms of difficulty, I'd say.
Yeah. So the reason there's no time there is because the cart is traveling between both transitions. But yeah, so I do this drop and warp and
Jesus.
yeah.
Oh my god. What? That's actually like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Like, that definitely saved time.
It's hard to tell like at first. Oh, nice mini kit there.
Okay.
Oh,
What?
that was stupid. I
Oh, I'm
remember
gonna kill
seeing that
myself.
actually in your run,
Actually.
Yeah.
and I like could not
Gosh,
believe that
yeah,
happened.
that's so stupid.
So I was trying to like jump to avoid getting shot, but then I ended up just jumping over the power up and not grabbing it.
My fault.
So I think
This
that
is
was,
probably like the worst split in your episode 5, honestly.
yeah, definitely. I think the ending was fine. Actually, well, yeah, I don't get the little camera pan skip here that you do, but
Yeah, I haven't missed this camera pan skip in a while now.
you'll see how I miss it. It's pretty stupid. It's like so close.
Is this the one where you hit your head on the icicle? Because I do tend to see that a lot. Oh, wow, what? Okay. I mean, I would have done the same thing. I don't know why that didn't work. This room is interesting because,
this is so bad.
like, would you save time to me there? Okay. That room is a hard room to play optimally. I mean, it's not a hard room to play, but to play it fast, it's actually like really difficult.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
And somehow I'm saving time to you in this room. Actually, wait, am I? Oh yeah, barely not. I mean, you can just see, like, that's just echo base in general. It's like every room is important in that level, but then there's a couple pieces of RNG, like the power up, like obviously the fact that the power up despawned for me was bad, but then Evan got the power up and it can still go worse. So it's just, especially the big room with the power up in it, like I really think that room is difficult to play well.
I think if you see the power up despawn right away, it's way easier to react because the power up didn't despawn for me. It just like ran out of time, and then I didn't get it.
Yeah,
So
and if it's going to the right, it's hard to tell as well. Yeah. Okay, so we both had good Falcon flights. I know that.
What? That's a bad opening.
Well, we both had equally terrible openings, though.
I think I had a better boulder entrance than you.
Oh yeah, because I had you will see how good my boulder is, but we both Q50 there, and then I think I alt tabbed during that mid-tro. So I'm actually curious if I save time to you or not on the Dagobah ball load, because I also don't preload that level, and I'm on 50. So it's very likely that I lose time to you there. But the barriers here, these are like, I don't know how to explain it, but these are like just, you expect it to be the same every time. Sometimes it's not, and if it's not, it can be really punishing because it's a lot harder to back up like a wild blank torpedo or something on these barriers when I think part of it is that your ships are always moving, right? So like if you have a blank torpedo, you can't shoot from the same position again, which is like kind of annoying. I think that's what happens to me on the next barrier, not this one. Oh wait, no, it is this one, yeah. So that hit a TIE fighter, which is just,
this is
what
my
can you do?
best pace ever. What are these targeting?
And I don't even know what in the world was going on your screen, but like somehow I blanked as well.
Yeah.
And then we both have good boulders, but
I think it's worth noting like, that both of us were not very confident in the runs we were having right now, up until this point, and then after both of our boulders, we're like, okay, we can get.
Because like, look at mine right here. Like that is a snipe, and then
Come on.
barely hits. That we're both have the same reaction.
Yeah. So a 58 boulder is insane. I think BTT
is insane.
Barely a 57.
I don't even know if it is. I think my segment was a 58.1. So if it is, yeah, definitely barely. So like, you're not gonna get that much better than that, which is just like absurd. And like, especially after I got that terrible boulder entrance, when I got like, that's when I was like, I don't even know if this run is good. But then of course getting that boulder is like, well, I mean, now it is. That's just objectively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So from here on, we're probably both not going to be talking as much. And this is also going to be interesting because both of these splits we have were community golds. Yours was first, and then I got mine later. I think when you're playing really well, it really shows in Dagobah.
I tend to lose time to you in that room pretty commonly. But this is where you see another difference in strats. I do this room completely differently too. So you're going to be like a second ahead of me here, I think. That is some mashing going on. Yeah, it looks like your hut skip is better too. Actually, nah, it's probably about the same, but
Yeah.
I save a tiny bit of time to not jump rolling there. I don't even know how much it is though.
Yeah, so I don't queue 60 hertz. I know Zacc does, but I just play the rest of the run on the 50. The reason we have to switch to 50 hertz anyways is for that button skip earlier in the level. And then this room, most of the reason you're ahead of me here is just because of the extra dropout I had at the beginning.
Yeah, and I mean, controller, you'll see he has to do that dropout because I can pan the camera down to call in Luke, whereas he cannot. So he needs to have Luke on player 2, which is going to make my cave just faster. But cool to see that we both played really clean throughout this level because this is one of the most satisfying levels to play well.
Yeah.
Definitely another level that's literally just entirely in your control. There's a little bit of a difference in strats here at the end as well. So, like, I push the turnstile further, but then I do this thing. So I force from a different place, and I also automatically get a I don't know if you noticed, but I always have the camera in such a way that Luke gets a redrop, which actually teleports R2 over to me. So I don't have to do the ending the way you do it, because he's already there. So yeah, I don't know. That's something that a lot of people don't know about, but because of the way I have Luke in that position on the bottom, so if I jump high enough, it'll drag Luke off screen, he'll get a redrop, and then R2 will get drop-in warped actually next to him. And so I'm actually end up saving time to you in that room, despite pushing the turnstile a little bit further.
Yeah. So, both really good Dagobahs from both of us.
Yep. Probably would have been like exactly the same if I hadn't queued 60 as well, so
yeah,
kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, the only reason I queue 60 is just for DB3. It's literally only for DB3, there's nothing else.
Mm-hmm. At this point, I don't know how you were feeling. Your BBT was probably really low because you're still 21 seconds ahead of me. At this point,
23 was alive for me, so I was pretty nervous.
Yeah. I was definitely. I knew it was possible, but I wasn't gonna expect much. And that's a pretty big mistake, actually.
That's just one of those things that like happens when you're nervous.
Yeah.
I even say it out loud. I'm like, it's alright. I'm just nervous. Like that's just gonna happen. You know, you're trying to play like too fast sometimes almost, and here you go. It's like 4, 3.5, yeah. And then, oh, I actually completely forgot I got that.
Yeah. That's
so funny that I got that, and then this is happening to you.
That severely decreased the odds.
Yeah. So this Cloud City I had was actually only 1 second off gold, and I lost 7.5 seconds in that room.
And you missed DVT.
Just purely because of RNG, yeah. Our DV1s are cool, they're very similar.
Interesting. I love this new strat.
Oh, I love it too.
It's a very nice time save, and it's not too difficult. So yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so you can see the only difference is I'm swapping, I guess. Yeah. Barely. 28.1 from you. That's like actually really good. How much do you think that lost?
So usually I get a 29 or a 30 in this room, and I got a pretty fast DV2 skipping out of 34, so.
Yeah, 4 sounds like.
Yeah, so usually I do way less pause buffers than Zacc does. I only did 2 right there. It's just because I have Luke on keyboard and he has Luke on controller, so it's a little more awkward, I think, for him.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw, but the first one I just unpaused. That's happens to me like all the time when I'm nervous. And the second one I just missed the panel, which is like, yeah, I mean, whatever. Everyone's done that a million times at this point. So it's just DV2 shenanigans. Like I didn't even miss the trick, and so I'm definitely not tilted at this point because I'm like, yeah, it's just how it is. I think I missed this once, or twice. I think it might be once. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good example of how much it loses to miss like a full DV3 attempt. And then direct your attention away from my screen for this, please.
So I can't believe you still do this strat because
No,
I don't even know what was happening here. I don't even know what this is.
That's really bad. Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I've messed up the panel jump.
I don't know. Yeah, I have practiced the other one, and like I can get it, but I feel like the problem is every time I get there on a run, I'm like, I don't want to kill my run to doing it a new way that I never have.
Right.
But I only get to CCT like once every 2 weeks, so I never get to actually practice it. So yeah, that's I lose what, like 8 in that room or something, or is it more than that?
It was 8. Yeah.
Yeah. So like 351 would have been considerably better than a 359.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of them would have been good. I mean, this is just a lot of like stupid mistakes that are only going to happen on pace for me in the CCT. Like the ways that I miss DV2 that shouldn't happen, and then like, I mean, DV3 was fine, so it is really just the small stuff. And then at this point, you're actually ahead of me, right?
Yes. So I actually have our real pace for every room in Bespin.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So thank God I had a good Bespin, because that actually makes the ending a lot more hype. And I remember what happens to you in Door Clip 2, which is actually kind of surprising to me that you still got a decent Bespin with that. And then I like throw there. So you're ahead of me now, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
by a
What
little
was
bit.
it? Ahead of.
So I don't know why Boba
What the
did
frick is
this.
he doing? Move!
He like
Kick
stopped
Boba
right
away.
there.
Freaking
I've never seen
Yeah,
him do that.
that's actually really weird. I don't know.
And yeah, then I got
And
civilian.
then
Low-key
civilians.
killed it.
I thought it was dead. Honestly, when that happened, I was like, that's 100% it.
It's gonna be
So
really
I
bad.
didn't like. I thought it was gonna be close. As soon as I leave this room, the thought I had in my head was I can get it by 1 second probably.
Move.
Or tie it. And I didn't have a great platform here. You can see how far Zacc will be ahead of me once
Oh
he
my
starts
God. Okay.
grappling.
Yes.
And once I started grappling, in my head I was like, okay, I can tie it. That's it.
That would have been crazy. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah, so-
it's pretty close to a tie, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, if both of our runs were half a second slower, it would have been a tie, so.
We'll see.
Um,
Let's go focus.
But yeah, it's interesting also, like, to see, because the end platform, I mean, we'll get to that when we get there, but in my opinion, one of the hardest rooms in the entire game, especially when you are on
Imagine the
pace
Zacc
and
armor
nervous,
with that
and, like,
civilian, though.
Yeah, because
like,
it's interesting, because both of us probably have very different mentalities right now, because at this point, you just have to get box clip and then you've secured record.
yeah.
Whereas for me, I have no idea until I hit the
Yeah, you're like, but, yeah, once I hit that, I'm like, all right, there we go. This is 20-second record. The day after the Summoning Salt video drops. And at this point, I'm just like, let's just finish it, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, maybe I can tie it, which is a little bit of a different approach. And I mean, I'm sure, like, mentality matters a lot, because anyone who has speedrun knows that, like, regardless of how fast you are, you will always play faster if you're trying to go faster. So
Hmm.
that's just the truth. A nice serve from both of us.
Yeah, so actually, I lost a lot of time on the tag here.
Oh
So,
yeah,
yeah,
just battering you.
you're actually 0.7 ahead of me, right here. But then I just get a slightly better end platform.
And the thing too, because I know, like we both got good end platforms,
Yeah.
to be honest. Here's the face cams. So if you look at my screen at the beginning of this end platform, it actually starts off like really well, and then I start to like get into this like, okay, I got record, which is exactly what my reaction there is me realizing it, and then I just kind of just start like spamming shots.
Let's go!
Yes!
Yes!
Fuck yes!
Oh my gosh! Let's. Oh my god! Holy crap, dude! Let's go! Oh, that's. Oh my god! Dude, what the frick? Oh my god! Dude.
Fuck yes. Holy shit.
Holy crap, man. It's interesting seeing our
That's
how different our like
episode
obviously it makes
5.
sense, but how
Oh
different
my
we're acting
gosh.
compared to like when we were entering
27
Bespin and when we're leaving Bespin.
Yeah. So the mentality that I've had recently is something that I actually learned from Tweak,
go,
who's a
boys.
pro Smash player, and he talked about it on his podcast. And he said, you can always sort of like extract a victory from every situation by reacting maturely. And so my mentality recently has been be gracious in both victory and loss. Because if you can do that, then you will look back on it more positively later. And so up until this point, I would say like 225, 224, even like 226, I would try my hardest to just kind of like accept the situation and be happy for other people's accomplishments and all that stuff. And when I got my 224.46, which was 3 seconds off record and was the day before the Salt video dropped, I completely like surrendered that. And I was not happy about that because I was really mad at the end of the run. And I was like, that's not like that's breaking the rule, right? Like that breaks the cardinal rule of what I'm trying to do, which is to be gracious in, you know, a win or a loss. So after this run, having had that in mind, I was like, if I can just secure the victory of actually getting record back, and I'll like let myself be happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically, I felt like when you express both positive and negative emotion, like strongly, it shows that you care about whatever you're doing. And obviously, we both care about this a lot. So, as much as I felt bad to be so like upset and like annoyed about not getting record a few days before, I was like, you know what, man, like when you accomplish something like that, you know, especially like the day after the video came out, which was, I did not expect that to happen at all. So like, whatever, man, I'll just be happy about it. Like let myself be happy about it. And that's why like when you got record, I was just like, this cool. It's like just a cool storyline, you know. It's just like because I mean, I always have the mentality like this isn't the last run I'm ever gonna do, especially not a 224.26.
Yeah.
So seeing it get like traded between us, I think it just adds to the storyline. So I thought it was cool.
I would say I definitely felt a very similar way when I broke record at BTR, and then you got it the same day. I won't lie, it was hard for me to accept it because At that point, it had been so long since I'd had world record. It'd been like over a year. And I got it back, and then you took it back 6 hours later.
Yoink, is what they say. But yeah.
Yeah, so, and it was a mixed feelings run too, but definitely like a good learning experience for how to handle things like this, and I'm definitely much better about that now, I would say.
Yeah, especially I don't know about you, but for me, like, not setting my expectations as having record was the most important thing for me, because I knew after, I don't know how many times in a row I had record, but it was like I wasn't the underdog anymore, right? And so, like, getting it over and over and over again and basically being expected to have it, I didn't like that, because I know that that's kind of how you become a worse speedrunner, right? You set expectations for yourself that are either unrealistic or just not healthy. So it was probably just a good thing that, like, I mean, it's always a good thing to have like competition, especially this tight, because it means that you will not get complacent ever, which is like the goal, basically.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree. So moving on, I just have like a couple cool stats to finish this off. So these are all of our episode times. I think these are really interesting. You can see how close we are after the first two episodes, and then just chaos ensues.
Yeah. I think
was that best episode 4 by you?
Yep, it still is.
Okay. And then I had best episode 5 ever.
I think the 3 I got was also best 3 by 1 second, but then it got beaten right after. Now it's been beaten by like 20 or something.
Yeah, best 3 was bad because there's a new strat that we're doing. Now.
Yeah, like that was best 3 I had, and that was with like a 121 Grievous or something, and just So yeah, I think this is just a good example of like we are able to play really consistently at the beginning of the run now, and it is becoming so much more like, I always compare this, but it's becoming so much more like 120 star, where we're getting really optimized times on like practically every level. But record is still going to have a 40-second time loss in it, of course, because that's just how the game is. And yeah, so it just starts to remind me of like 120 more and more, where like, yes, record has maybe a 30-40-second time loss in one room. That doesn't mean we're not going to save frames everywhere we can and like try and be as optimal as possible in the early game. And I also like part of what I like about our game is that there isn't one person like Ouija just getting insane early games, whereas like we have like, I don't know, you could even argue like Ginger as well and Senor. So like there's tons of us that are able to play that well at the beginning of the run, and it shows that the game can be optimized like throughout the entire thing. It'll just take a lot of time, especially with like there's so much new stuff. Like we haven't even really cemented Chancellor as like okay, this trick is not that hard yet, because I mean you could still kill your run. The Dagobah thing killed my run not even that long ago. So we're just like, we're getting there basically. But I mean the episodes, like you can clearly see the like dichotomy of early game versus late game, and like when the run starts to become bad, because the only reason you continued that, terrible episode 4, which lost 23 seconds or whatever it is because you were already so far ahead of me. So like you were already on such a good pace. Yeah. Otherwise it would have been a pretty consistent first set of 3 episodes, I think. So.
And it was pretty much just one level too. If I had the same Jellin as you, we would have been like dead even leaving 4. So.
Yep. I would say you're not going to see that episode 5 again.
Probably not.
Definitely not anytime soon. But it is cool to see that we're getting a lot of like decent episodes, and I guess you can move on to the next stat, which I'm assuming is sum of rooms.
Yes.
Or total faster rooms.
Rooms. So this is just an interesting one. Zacc has 135 rooms that are faster than me, and I have 119 that are faster than him.
Yeah. I mean, it's like what you'd expect, pretty even. I mean, we have like, it's a little weird, obviously, right? Because some of the rooms will move a dropout and whatever.
Right.
But for the most part, it's relatively even. And I think a lot of me having faster rooms is because I'm on controller the whole run. So it's a lot easier for me to get a faster room that's like under 10 seconds long.
Yeah.
So that definitely contributes to it.
Yeah, even faster rooms by like a frame. This also includes the save cancel segments and the load segments.
Right.
And resets as well. So those.
Yeah, so that's automatic 3 and then a lot of loads for me as well.
Yeah. You'll usually have the upper hand on me there. So I guess excluding those, it's probably really even. But yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is the coolest one to me. So our sum of best rooms was a 221.05. Which
is really good.
That's over 3 minutes faster than both of our PBs.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting that it just puts into perspective that like if both of us like combined like played the run, like this is kind of a weird way of looking at it, but like both of us combined, we could just get that time, because it's really hard to expect one person to play that well the entire run. But obviously we're different people, we're gonna have different like mistakes and different successes, and so it's really interesting that we get that good of a time together. And then the sum of worst is a 227.48, which is also really cool, because that's a pretty good time.
Is that sixth?
I think
or
it's
something.
6th place. Yeah,
barely 6th place, but yeah, like that's objectively just a good time. A 227 is a good time. There's been, I think, 40 227s or something like that ever.
Most of them are by us too, though. I think there's only 5 people that have a 227.
Yeah, so that's just crazy. Like, and that includes our terrible like ITDS and Endor and Destiny and all this stuff. And I think it just shows you that like, while the game is inconsistent, right? Like, if you are good enough, you will get a good time, you know? So, despite the fact that, like, we both had good boulders. So that's like an example of like a room where our worst segment is actually going to be decent. Yeah. But for the most part, it just shows you that, like, with the right amount of skill, this game is relatively consistent enough to where, like, you will get the time that you are capable of eventually. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank y'all for watching. This did take a lot of effort to make, so appreciate it if you made it this far, because it is just a bunch of nerd crap. But,
yeah.
Anyways, yeah, once again, I'm ERoadhouse, with Zacc, Zacc Muffin on all socials, just ERoadhouse for me, and thank you for watching. Peace.
Yep, see you guys later.